Presidential candidates Kamala Harris and Donald Trump meeting on the debate stage for the first time.
Kamala Harris. Let's have a good debate.
See you. Have fun.
Thank you.
The vice president walking to the former president's podium to shake his hand in Philadelphia. The two standing just 6 feet apart. From the start, the gloves were off.
Tonight, you're going to hear from the same old tired playbook. A bunch of lies, grievances, and name-calling.
Trump punching back.
She's a Marxist. Everybody knows she's a Marxist. Her father's a Marxist professor in economics, and he taught her well.
The stakes could not be higher for tonight's debate. The two candidates locked in a dead heat in polls. The economy and inflation on the top of American voters' minds. Trump laying the blame on the Harris and Biden administration.
We have inflation like very few people have ever seen before, probably the worst in our nation's history. We were at 21%.
Harris responding.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment since the Great Depression. Donald Trump left us the worst public health epidemic in a century.
Like the Trump-Biden debate, tonight there was no studio audience and the microphones were turned off.
And remember this, she is Biden.
That right there, yes, in some points the microphones were turned off, but there were times when Vice President Harris was able to overtalk former President Trump. But so just wanted to say that if you guys haven't watched the debate, and I want you guys to please go back and watch the whole debate, because it kind of was a circus, and it was also funny, but let's just watch it.
She's trying to get away from Biden. I don't know the gentleman. She says, she is Biden. The worst inflation we've ever had, a horrible economy because inflation has made it so bad, and she can't get away with that.
Harris responding.
Clearly, I am not Joe Biden, and I am certainly not Donald Trump. And what I do offer is a new generation of leadership for our country.
The debate turning personal.
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that.
Trump claiming Biden was pushed off the Democratic ticket.
You talk about a threat to democracy. He got 14 million votes and they threw him out of office. And you know what? I'll give you a little secret. He hates her. He can't stand her.
Both candidates getting heated when discussing the issue of abortion, an area of vulnerability for the GOP.
Her vice presidential pick says abortion in the 9th month is absolutely fine. He also says execution after birth. It's execution, no longer abortion, because the baby is born, is okay. And that's not okay with me, hence the vote.
ABC News fact-checking the former president.
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born.
Harris, after reminding Americans of Trump's role.
I have to just say this, and this is something that I didn't like in the debate, and please watch it. They kept trying to make Trump seem like he's like Walter Matthau from Grumpy Old Men. All right, even like with this picture right here, he looks like the guy who played Mr. Wilson from Dennis the Menace. They want us to think that Trump is this grumpy old man who's out of touch and he doesn't understand stuff. So they kept saying that they fact-checking Trump, but they were not fact-checking of the vice president. They weren't. They allowed her to say some stuff or go off the rip, and I was like, yo, she's going off on a tangent, and she's not staying on point. And they weren't fact-checking her. That's what really got me upset, and I was like, nah, this is crazy. But let's continue.
Role in selecting members of the Supreme Court who overturned Roe v. Wade went on the attack.
I absolutely support reinstating the protections of Roe v. Wade, and as you rightly mentioned, nowhere in America is a woman carrying a pregnancy to term and asking for an abortion. That is not happening. It's insulting to the women of America.
According to a Pew Research Center study, a majority of Americans believe abortion should be legal in all or most cases. President Trump hammering the Biden administration on the border, an area of vulnerability for Harris.
There's never been anything done like this at all. They've destroyed the fabric of our country. Millions of people let in. And all over the world, crime is down all over the world except here.
Harris defending her record, pointing to the bipartisan border bill that Trump killed.
That bill would have put more resources to allow us to prosecute transnational criminal organizations for trafficking in guns, drugs, and human beings. But you know what happened to that bill? Donald Trump got on the phone, called up some folks in Congress and said, kill the bill. And you know why? Because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem.
At one point, Trump repeating debunked claims about immigrants in Springfield, Ohio.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
I just want to clarify here. You bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being.
All right, let's be honest. What in the world is the city manager going to? You think the city manager going to say, yeah, you know, they actually are doing that? But there are videos of the citizens in Springfield that's saying that, hey, look, we seen them catching these animals. Now, I don't know if they're eating them or not because I didn't see it. But I did see a picture of a guy like wringing the hell out of a geese or a duck or whatever the hell it's called. And I was like, holy snap. But, you know, hey, that's their prerogative, I guess.
Harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Both candidates going after one another, Harris needling Trump about his rallies.
You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom.
People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there.
ABC News anchor Lindsay Davis challenging the vice president on her changing positions.
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president, you said you wanted to ban fracking. Now you don't. You wanted mandatory government buyback programs for assault weapons. Now your campaign says you don't. You supported decriminalizing border crossings. Now you're taking a harder line. I know you say that your values have not changed. So then why have so many of your policy positions changed?
So my values have not changed, and I'm going to discuss every one of at least every point that you've made.
Tonight was crucial for both candidates, but for Harris it was her biggest stage yet as she reintroduces herself to voters, with recent polls showing nearly a third of voters say they still don't know enough about her. While tonight was her first presidential debate, she did not hold back.
When you then talk in this way in a presidential debate and deny what over and over again are court cases you have lost because you did in fact lose that election, it leads one to believe that perhaps we do not have in the candidate to my right the temperament or the ability to not be confused about fact.
Trump launching attacks on Harris's record.
She's worse than Biden. In my opinion, I think he's the worst president in the history of our country. She goes down as the worst vice president in the history of our country.
Tonight was Trump's seventh presidential debate. Less than 3 months ago, he was on the debate stage facing off against a different candidate.
With the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Shortly after Trump survived an assassination.
I ain't gonna lie, but seeing Biden like that, Trump said something in the debate, right? This had me rolling off the floor. Please watch the debate. Trump said something that, oh, we don't know where Biden is. We don't even know if Biden knows he's alive. I was like, yo, that was a highlight right there, but of course they didn't play it because it would make the Democrats look bad. But that was hella hilarious. Please watch the debate. I will put the debate link in the description box. Please watch it. It is hella hilarious, the things that Trump said. But I have to say this. Harris, Vice President Harris, she did hold her own on with Trump. She did. And also, Trump held his own as well. Yes, there was some things that he was rambling about, but there were things that Harris was rambling about. And I feel, and this is just me, I think that if they do a next debate, it needs to be in front of a live audience. It needs to be in front of a live audience because Trump is an entertainer. Trump can feel the crowd. So he can say things that will make the crowd feel like, oh, okay, that he can galvanize the crowd to his side. I don't think that Harris will be able to do that. So in my opinion, the only way that Trump can elevate is to say that the next debate has to be in front of a live audience. That way, you can't play any BS games. You can't run from an answer because there's no crowd that's saying, ooh, or ah, and oh, answer the question. You see, they didn't have that with this debate. So this format makes Vice President Harris looks good and Trump look bad because let's be honest, the moderators, they weren't really hardcore on Vice President Harris like they were on former President Trump. And we see it, but this is the things that's going on. So I'm going to put the link in the description, and I'm also going to put the link to the full debate in the description. And I want you guys to look at the debate because, in my opinion, I feel that both of them had their points. Trump on immigration, yes, 100%. Trump on the economy, yes, 100%. But then you had Harris who said something on immigration that kind of made sense too. Why did you block that bill, former President Trump? If that bill could have put 15 or 100 more border patrol agents on the border, that probably would have solved or somewhat solved the immigration crisis from the border right there to protect our borders. Why did you kill it? Hey, we need to know that.